U.S. rate markets rate an aggressive 75 bps hike on Wednesday. London, New York investors have dramatically raised their bets that the U.S. Federal Reserve will boost hobby rates by using 75 basis factors (BPS) in place of 50 bits per second on Wednesday, a swing in expectations that has fueled a violent sell-off throughout global markets. Expectations for a 75 bits per second hike on the June meeting jumped to 89% on Tuesday from only 3.9% a week ago, in line with CME's FedWatch tool. Consequently, expectancies of a 50 bits per second rate hike on Wednesday have melted to 11% from a surefire guess per week in advance. Investors fear that a 75 bits per second price increase, which would be the most important considering that 1994, will negatively affect the valuation of equities, particularly technology stocks, and jeopardize the post-COVID-19 healing. Monday's sell-off showed a so-called bear market for the U.S. S&P 500 Fairness Index, that's down greater than 20% from its most latest closing excessive. On Tuesday, traders endured to sell U.S. shares as investors braced for an aggressive Fed. In the Treasuries marketplace on Tuesday, U.S. two-year yields, which are rather sensitive to rate expectations, spiked to 3.439%, the very best in view that November 2007. Benchmark U.S. 10-year yields touched 3.479%, their strongest degree due to the fact that April 2011. The yield curve among 2-year and 10-year notes briefly inverted on Tuesday as far as 5.4 bits per second, which commonly indicates an incoming recession. The curve changed into ultimate steeper at 4.2 bits per second. The Fed ends its two-day meeting on Wednesday amid data ultimate Friday displaying that U.S. client charges had risen at their quickest pace for the reason that 1981. Data confirmed that inside the 365 days via May, the U.S. Customer Charge Index (CPI) surged 8.6%, the largest year-on-year boom in more or less 40 years. The so-called center CPI climbed 6.0% in May on a year-on-year basis. Some investment banks, including Goldman Sachs (NYSE) (GS), stated they now predicted 75 bits per second will increase in June and July, after which a 50 bits per second hike in September. TD Securities expects the identical quantum of rate hikes in June and July. The U.S. Federal Reserve must boost its Fed funds rate to 3% on Wednesday, Jeffrey Gundlach, the leader Gov officer of DoubleLine Capital said on Twitter. NYSE, TWTR overdue on Tuesday. The market has speedy adjusted charge hike expectations for the following couple of meetings, inclusive of 75 bits per second every for June and July, said Mauricio Agudelo, head of fixed earnings investments at Homestead Funds. In our view, the market is already doing the tightening for the Fed, consequently the Fed must deliver.